Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My name is Dr. Khalid. I'm a consultant physician. Today I'm going to talk about the different COVID-19 vaccines on the board till today. We already know that some of the vaccines have been authorized by FDA and they are being used in states and other parts of the world. There is actually fear among the community that what will be the outcome. They may have some serious side effects. So I want to discuss them too, along with different kind of vaccines we have and what will be their effect and how we will contribute by vaccinating our community to prevent this pandemic. This COVID 19 actually has a very devastating effect around the world. 222 countries in the world are suffering because of this virus, and 1.9 around people have lost their lives or are died, and 84 million people up to now have suffered from this illness, and there are new strains coming. So this is one of the best time, I think, in the pandemic that we have got some hopes, and that is in the form of vaccine. So I want to share some of the informations about these vaccines and how WHO or World Health Organization has accumulated information and how many countries and how many companies have registered with them and which are preclinical and clinical trials. So before I start something, I want to give some important facts about the vaccine by asking some of the questions. The first one is that can COVID-19 vaccine make you suffer with COVID-19 infection? So the answer is no. It's very clear because the current vaccines which are being authorized do not contain the attenuated vaccine, or they do not contain the live virus. So these are actually the facts. That's the reason there is no chance that after getting the vaccine you may get infected with the vaccine. You may get infection before and after the vaccine because vaccine basically takes a time to be effective, which I'm going to tell you clearly that how that can be affect the before and after the vaccine. However, during the time of vaccine, first dose, second dose, you may suffer a fever, which is a normal phenomena, rather a positive thing, in the sense that when a fever is there, that indicates the immune system is active. And this should be very clear that the vaccine does not affect immediately. It will take time, like a few weeks to a month. That's the reason two doses are given and the time span is advised. So we will discuss that further. The second one thing is that after getting COVID-19 vaccine, will test be positive for COVID-19 for a viral test? The answer is again no, because the vaccines are not the live virus or they are not attenuated virus. Rather, they are meant to produce the antibodies. Yes, antibodies produced will be possibly raised. And if the person has a prior infection, might have uh, already antibodies, and these antibodies we cannot properly differentiate that whether it is infection or because of the this vaccination. But that history is important. If the patient has got symptoms and his antibodies are raised, that means he has a possible prior infection. So the answer is that COVID-19 vaccine will not affect your PCR test. Those who already have COVID-19 vaccine and recover, still they need to be vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine? Yes. This is a very important question, and this should be very clear that this COVID-19, in those who have got the COVID-19, and there are possibilities that they may have the second infection. Nobody knows that how much immunity or how long immunity lasts after the infection. However, it is a common observation that up to 90 days or they remain safe. After 90 days, there is a possibility that they may be reinfected. So if there is a chance of reinfection, so there is no question of no vaccine. They should be vaccinated. What time? Depending on their choice and depending over the observation and recommendation of the producing or manufacturer. The other fourth thing is that whether COVID-19 vaccine will alter DNA or genetic material. The answer again, big no. COVID-19 messenger RNA vaccine do not change or interact with your DNA in any way, because once it is injected in the body, it goes into the cytoplasm of the cell. Here, it attacks the protein producing uh, factory that is called the ribosome, and it does not enter into the DNA. Rather, it is destroyed there in the cytoplasm. So there is no question of altering the DNA. That is the beauty of this new technology that is specifically deceiving the body cell to produce the specific uh, spike proteins, which I will discuss that later. This is actually a basic question how COVID vaccine works. I have introduced one of the uh, slide movie, which is delivered or produced by the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, and they show that how the vaccine works and what are different vaccines. I will discuss that also. So, basic idea of vaccine production is to uh, give the body some memory cells that they can remember any foreign virus coming up from outside, like coronavirus, that can immediately recognize and attack and destroy it, so that person is protected from the infection. So that is the basic idea behind this vaccine. So these memory cells or T lymphocytes will remain in the body in a shorter number, but they are having the memory inside, so they can recognize immediately and can produce the a lot of antibodies so that virus is destroyed. Because before the vaccine, or when the person is not vaccinated, there are no memory cells. So idea of vaccine is to produce some memory cells inside the body. They can easily and immediately recognize the invading virus. A bit closer look on to the COVID-19 vaccine work, how it works. COVID-19 messenger RNA vaccine gives instruction for our cell to make harmless piece of what is called the spike protein, which I already showed. Spike protein is found on the surface of the virus that causes COVID-19. And these are actually the protein which are produced by this vaccine instruction. COVID-19 messenger RNA vaccine are given in the upper arm muscle. Once the instruction messenger RNA are inside the immune cells, the cell use them to make the protein piece. After that protein piece is made, the cell breaks down the instruction and gets rid of them. So you know that these messenger RNA are destroyed after they start producing the protein. They no longer remain inside the cell, and they are not able to act the nucleus or the genetic material or the DNA inside the nucleus. So this is a technological advancement, or best of the best technology at this time, nanotechnology, which is in certain countries is being used, and some other countries are using the old or classical method for producing antibodies or vaccines. They are also effective because before we were not having this mRNA technology. This is the new technology, and we don't have much experience with that. Hopefully, it will work very well. But the classical production of vaccine, there was a risk of producing the disease. That's the reason the people are thinking in their best way to produce and protect our community from this coronavirus. This is a brief and basic thing about the how we develop immunity. Our body is having the capacity to produce or keep its defense, but this takes a time, and it is not all the time ready to fight all these vaccines until it is uh, given certain instruction by introducing by attenuated particles or attenuated viruses or the technologically induced messenger RNAs. So this gives the stepwise instruction that how the virus entered in the body. That the virus you can see has the spikes on it, and these spike proteins are basically the proteins which attach with the ACE receptors or angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors in the body and combine it and enter into the cell. And once it is entering into the cells, and it releases its a messenger RNA, and this messenger RNA fuses with the ribosomes and with the vesicle, and its RNA is released. And viruses assembly occurs here, and after that viruses after this assembly will release and will face to the ACP or antigen presenting cell, and antigen presenting cell will produce antibodies, and will these antibodies who, along with the virus will be present to the cytotoxic cell. These cytotoxic cell engulf the virus and then destroy. So this is basically the mechanism and the basic thing which we keep in mind while thinking and producing the vaccines. This is our basic actually things to talk. Our main thing to talk is the type of the vaccine. There are three different kind of vaccine which are commonly being used. One is messenger RNA vaccines, which I already discussed that how it is produced. This contains the nanolipid this coat on it, and inside this is RNA, and this is all technologically produced. The second is the protein subunit vaccines. This is include the harmless piece, or the I told that the spike of the protein of the virus. They are actually produced, and then they are attached with the adjacents to enhance its activity, because as such protein subunit do not induce much immune response, so they are attached with some of the adjutant, and then their function is enhanced, and they are capable to produce a good amount of antibodies and good amount of memory cells which can recognize the virus. The third technique is the vector vaccine. As the name indicates, this contains a weakened version of the live virus, a different virus than the one that causes COVID-19. That has the genetic material from the virus that causes COVID-19 inserted in it. This is called a viral vector. Uh, Once the virus vector is inside our cell, the genetic material gives cells instruction to make protein that is unique to the virus that causes COVID-19. Using these instructions, our cells make copies of the protein. This prompts our bodies to build T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes that would remember how to fight that virus if we are infected in the virus. These kind of vaccines are also being considered in certain part of the world, and hopefully will be available, because these vaccines, mRNA vaccine, are not in a huge number to provide whole of the world, and they have certain important temperature requirement also, which may not be feasible in certain warm countries, but depend on the resources. The authorized and recommended vaccines up to now, we have got two vaccines which are being authorized by FDA. Number one is the Pfizer BioNTech COVID vaccine. The second one is Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, which has been produced by with the help of NIH. Vaccines in three clinical or phase three clinical trials. There are three vaccine are also in the pipeline, and they are on the clinical trial soon will be available. One is the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The second is the Janssen COVID-19 vaccine. The third one, Novavax COVID-19 vaccine. These vaccines will also be available soon. That is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, which is being used. And it has certain characteristics. Its name is called BNT162B2. And manufacturer, of course, is the Pfizer and BioNTech. This vaccine is called the messenger RNA vaccine. And two shots of this vaccine are given at 21 days apart in those who are 16 years and above. These shots are given in the muscle of the upper arm, and this vaccine does not contain the eggs or preservatives or latex. The second vaccine is the Moderna. Moderna again is a messenger RNA 1273 vaccine, and it is produced by Moderna, Texas. Incorporation. Type vaccine is again messenger RNA vaccine. Two shots again given. These are 1 month apart, and those who are 18 years of age. So there is a bit difference. Shots again in muscle in the upper arm does not contain eggs, preservative, and latex. An important point to remember about these two vaccines: the Pfizer vaccine needs a minus 70-degree temperature, while the Moderna needs minus 20-degree centigrade temperature for its preservation. Most of the COVID-19 vaccines require more than one shot. And the reason is clear that one shot or one dose of vaccine is not able to give the proper antibodies. So second dose is given as a booster dose. So how long these two doses will protect the body, we don't have much experience, and nobody knows up to now. And possibly in the future we will know that we will have a third dose, which is a booster dose, may long for life. So for these two vaccines may not give you a very long protection, but at least time when the virus is at the virus is as rampant. There is one vaccine is in the pipeline also, will be available after some time, is in phase clinical trial. Only one dose or one shot is needed. But again, the importance of the monitoring these agencies or like WHO and other Gavi, they seek all kind of protection, whether they are really helpful or whether we will be able to produce the required standard or required amount of antibodies to protect antibodies or not. So there are many procedures, many steps which are required to go till the final till the consumer is available or is being used in community. The bottom line, getting vaccinated is one of many steps you can take to protect yourself and others from COVID-19. Protection from COVID-19 is critically important because of some people it can cause severe illness or death. Stopping a pandemic requires using all the tools available. Vaccine work with your immune system so your body will be ready to fight with the virus if you are exposed. Other steps like masks and social distancing help reduce your chance of being exposed to the virus or spreading it to others. Together, COVID-19 vaccine and allow CDC and other companies to protect yourself and others will offer the best protection from COVID-19. What is the World Health Organization landscape worldwide? This is actually the summary of or the landscape of WHO, which is updating every 15 days. That 63 vaccines are in the clinical trial, and 172 vaccines are in the pre-clinical trial. You can see that different kind of vaccines, and these are the PS protein, the mRNA protein, and the vector protein, and some other different proteins are also, or some virus particles, or parasite particle, or bacterial particle, whatever vaccine is used. They are using those techniques for this virus to produce, to protect the community, and bring it for the different countries to use. And different countries, of course, have the different temperature requirement. Some of the vaccines have also different and even less temperature requirement. So these vaccines will also be available, so we will know time to time what are their requirement and what are their recommendations. This is the address of the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, which produce a YouTube 2-3 minutes, which gives you a clear idea how different vaccines act. And this is a cartoonic explanation which will help you to understand the uh, COVID vaccine, how does it work, and how does it